All right, what's up, guys? This is Wavier Wire Wednesday with the talented Mr. Chaco, and I got Ricky with me here. And we got to say this, Julius Randle. Hey, now you're an all-star. Let's get to your game. What's up, boys? Like I said, this is the Daily Sporting with Waiver Wire Wednesday. Got Ricky on board. Tell the fellas what's up, Ricky.
What's going on, guys? And yeah, Randall, Nick's got an all-star. When's the last time we had an all-star? Was it Melo?
No.
No,
KP.
no,
Let's not forget
KP,
about
yeah,
that.
KP.
But
Oh yeah, I
but
forgot.
as we land the plane on that, I'll say Randall was an all-star for the Knicks before KP was an all-star for the Mavericks, and the Mavericks are looking to possibly deal KP. So for everyone that said we got railroaded in that trade, maybe it's not quite so bad. Let's take
Yeah, I mean
a look at
that's a little hindsight. Hey, it's hindsight.
hey, it's hindsight, but I forgot who it was on Twitter, but someone had a post from 2019 that said the Knicks signed Randall for like 68 million and the Mavericks signed Porzingis for like 160, but the Knicks got the better player. People destroyed him. He said this in 2019, mind you. 2019. When he finally, I think some of us saw it like 2 days ago. Oh man, we were filleting the people that were filleting him. They're like, this is from 2 years ago. I'm like, we have long memories. And with that being said, with Waiver Wire Wednesday, one thing that we definitely like to do is we like to go over players that are owned in 50% of leagues or less in order to give you guys, viable options for your roster to help make it as good as possible. Because let's face it, just like in real life, you need to be you're only as good as your weakest link, or you're only as good as the last man on your roster, and you need to make things as tight as possible to get you into the playoffs. Ricky, before we go into the players, I just want to ask you a question. Have you made any good waiver wire pickups lately that you got to just keep you feeling like warm and fuzzy lately?
So right now, the guy right now that I am excited was the guy that we spoke about yesterday. I mean last week.
Mm-hmm.
And actually it was both guys, but the guy I'm really looking at is Josh Jackson
Mm-hmm.
from Detroit. I'm so happy with that pickup.
Mm-hmm.
So far he's been a great pickup so far. He's someone that definitely we're gonna get into it later. We'll see how he's ended up since the last time we spoke. But he is someone that I am excited about. I am happy that I was able to get off the waiver wire
Mm-hmm.
and still
Mm-hmm.
on my team.
See that's the beautiful part about it. And I think since you brought him up, I think it's fair to speak to him now. And you're talking about Jackson from Detroit, correct? Josh Jackson?
Yes, Josh Jackson. That's correct.
Okay.
We talked about him last week.
Mm-hmm.
He was basically
These are
since he
last week's
left since
guys.
we last week, which was the 16th.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this he's had the next game he had was 8 points. But then he had 15, then he had 17.
Mm-hmm.
He's shooting from 3 point, not so great. Field goal percentage was 30, 60, 33. That could definitely go up. The
Mm-hmm.
minutes have been there, but he's been doing what a waiver wire is supposed to be doing,
Mm-hmm.
especially now with people getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
People with COVID. He's been filling in really great for me right now.
Definitely. And one thing that you have to love when you're looking at his line: 29 minutes, 32 minutes, 24 minutes, 27 minutes. The guy's getting burned. He
Yeah.
scored at least 15 points in his last 3 games. Low turnovers. Definitely starting to rock. And as you see here, he's only 48% up +3 in his last couple of games. And then one other player that you went over last week was Sadiq Bey. How you feeling about Sadiq Bey so far?
Another guy that I've been really happy about, someone that, again, you're hoping these guys can come and contribute. Again, sometimes it's for the short term, as you know, Steve. You get them there for a week. A guy's
Absolutely.
hurt. You'll get them there for the last 4 or 5 games, and then you get them off your team. But these guys seem to be sticking around. And again, you have to look at the team. As we always said, Detroit is really going to start playing their young players, giving them minutes. Sadiq Bey, since we left, he had 12 points, 14, 11. He's getting the minutes, 32, 32, 30. So again, he looks like someone that's going to stay. As we both know, when we did this last week, we found out Griffin's not going to come back. He's probably never going to play for Detroit again, right? So this really just means Sadiq Bey is there for the if he's out there, please pick him up because he's going to get the minutes. I don't see him losing minutes. I don't see this deteriorating. I see Sadiq Bey as someone that's going to moving forward that I'm going to keep in my lineup or have on my team at least for those times where I need to fill them in. If not, start him.
And the one thing I will say about Bay is, one, he's hit on at least 32 minutes, and pretty much all 4 of his last game. He only had one game where he had 30. His field goal percentage has gone down a little bit, which was to be expected. He was shooting sky high the last time we spoke about him, but overall,
well, we said that. I think we said that. I think you brought that up.
Exactly. But overall, I don't think there's anything that you could really say about Sadiq, especially coming off the waiver wires. In 4 games, he has 5 steals. So that's over one steal a game. So that's pretty solid. Definitely something good to look at. And then for me, 2 of the guys that I went over last week was Marcus Morris Sr. and Cody Zeller. I think the first guy that we could speak to is Marcus Morris Sr. Off the rip, like I said, he was a short-term ad as some of these guys were out. And then literally, as I say that, both guys came back roaring, both PG and Kawhi Leonard. So if we see here, Marcus has dropped back to normal. He's really taken a hit in his last 2 of his last 3 games. He's been under 10 points. He is still getting significant minutes, as we see 32, 27, 25. So his minutes are there. But with everyone coming back, I am fading him. If I was personally had him on my team, I would probably drop him for someone just probably a little bit more effective and efficient from the field because right now he's just not doing it. His hot streak is over, and I think it's time for us to move on from him. And then to quickly touch on the last player that we brought up last week, and that's going to be Cody Zeller. And Cody Zeller, he looks like he's starting to dip a little bit in his time. He was going from 26, 25. He's going down about 21. So he's down about 4 minutes a game, which isn't too much. But overall, he's a solid center. He's not someone that you run out of the window to get. But if you're desperate for center, because I know a lot of leagues play 2 centers, he's definitely someone that you could look at grabbing and holding on to. Just for reference, on the last week, I'm saying he's not having that great of a time. Cody Zeller's at 317. So, I mean, if you see here, I personally just dropped him for a guy that's even worse, Potel, but we're going to talk about him in a little bit. So we'll touch on that. So don't worry. But Ricky, so this week, let's talk about this week in fantasy basketball for who you got as your waiver wire pick. And first up, you said you had
just to mention.
Yeah, what you're saying?
Yes, yeah. So the guy I have is Garrett.
Oh, you were going to mention something?
Yeah. I was actually going to bring up Morris because I know, you said, he has gone down. So Morris is someone that to me at full strength, his fantasy takes a dip, but people do have to realize sometimes, hey, he's getting the minutes. He's still over 25 minutes. He does shoot the 3. Somehow he's been shooting the 3 pretty well. Definitely someone like I have him. I'm probably going to drop him. But if you have room, he is someone where if the Clippers get hurt, even just one player, he fits in there lovely. He's going to get the minutes. He's going to get, you saw already what he did. So just keep in mind when people pick up, it's like, yeah, you can start putting him on the bench. You don't have to necessarily drop him, see how it goes. But look, if there's a better option, like you always say, Steve, drop him like hotcakes, right? Don't pick up the other player that you think is going to help you. And I think, but Morris is someone that does score.
I think this can bring us back to Fantasy Waiver Wire Watch Week 7 when we talk about Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson was one of those guys that we talked about as an immediate ad, but drop him like it's hot once some of these guys came back, because guess what? His minute share wasn't there. But while it was there, he was someone worth playing. And I think that's the same situation we could describe for Marquise Morris. He was someone that, while he was, getting that burn and having that opportunity to get the ball, you play him. Now that some of these other guys have come back and it hurts his usage, you can look at getting a better free agent if he's available. But if not, you keep him on your team and you ride him out until you find something better. I definitely
agree. He's someone that they could fill in when you don't have days like, hey, you know what? I'm not going to be picking up five, especially if you have a limit during the week. You can't just be picking up guys. Someone that you can have on the bench. Hey, you know what? I only have 4 guys coming today. He could be my 5th. You never know. Again, when he shoots 3, he's been shooting well. Again, he's a guy that still gets minutes. Don't necessarily have to drop him, but look how it goes from here on in and see if there's anyone out there better. But yeah, moving on. Garrett Temple is one of these guys that I think I don't want to say he's like a Reggie Jackson. You brought him up because Reggie Jackson, I kind of thought we kind of both knew it was short lived. It was going to be a week, right? It was 4 games. I was really thinking that Paul George and Kawhi wasn't going to come in. Gary Temple is another guy where the guys are hurt, right? He has I think they're saying that Laurie and Porter won't come back till the All-Star break.
The All-Star break, yep.
Right. So they have to give minutes somewhere, right? This is Chicago. It's not like they have abundance of players. They have to give minutes to these guys on the bench. And I think Gary Temple is the one that has been this month coming in and getting the minutes. If you look at his time now, the last, let's say.
Yep, in the last 14 days, he's been averaging 32.5 minutes per game. He's been shooting 57% from the field, 83% from the free throw line. He's hit 11 threes in the last 2 weeks, 78 points, 28 rebounds, 16 assists, 6 steals, 7 blocks, 3 turnovers. He's been putting up big-time numbers. If you break that down just into the average over the last 2 weeks, he's currently 64 on average, hitting 1.6 threes per game, 11.1 points, 4 rebounds, 2.3 assists, 0.9 steals, 1 block. So he's giving you stats everywhere. He doesn't hurt you anywhere. He's one of those ultra efficient guys that I always like to talk about that, can roster on my team any day of the week, especially if you're getting 32 minutes per game, shooting 57% from the field, 83% from the free throw, getting me 1.6 threes and 1 block a game. That's pretty solid, especially from a guy that's playing point guard and shooting guard. Definitely agree.
That is exactly right. That's where I'm looking at. That's what I'm looking at. That he's going to get the minutes. And in February, he started off bad. If you look at it at the beginning of February, right, he wasn't scoring. He has gotten better. I think in the last 5 out of the last 7 games, he scored in double digits. Again, so it's a guy that hey, it's going to take time to develop. As we see, if you saw in the beginning of February, he wasn't that good. But he has come on lately. And when I mean come on, is someone that you're picking off waiver that you need someone to fill in a body. He's someone that has been doing that. So again, to me, he's someone, hey, you got a couple of hurt, especially if you got Porter or Laurie hurt, right? This is the guy that you could pick in, kind of fill in that spot. And then you have him till the All-Star break because that's what Chicago's saying. That's still, I forgot when's the All-Star break. Do you know?
I think we're looking at maybe like 2 more weeks, roughly.
Okay, so that's a good amount of games that you have left, so you could play someone, and that's what he is to me. He's not someone that's going to be on your team in the long run, especially when the other 2 come back. He is going to be pretty much non-existent. But again, for now, he is someone that you ride out to the All-Star break and then see how it goes from there.
I definitely agree with you there. I think that he offers a lot of upside, especially when you consider his minutes and his efficiency over his last 2 weeks. He's definitely at least someone over a short run that you can take a run with. Like we say, I like to ride them while they're hot, and then once it's over, I can make the appropriate move. Yep. And then just to keep the Ricky flow going, the second player that you had brought up was a guy from Houston. And if you watch our other show that we have, I usually do it This Week in Basketball. Someone had actually brought up a question about this particular player. So we were speaking about him a little bit last week, and I think he's a perfect player to talk about now again this week, because he's definitely been a solid player for a lot of fantasy rosters teams right now. So break us down a little bit more information about Tate.
Tate just again, he's on a team as you see. Cousins is gone,
Mhm.
all right, or is going to be gone, I think.
Yep. Nope, he's
It's a
gone.
Houston team that hey, they need to give minutes. They're going to give minutes. He's an undrafted rookie. They
Mhm.
liked what they've seen in him. He's gotten minutes since basically
Mhm.
they put him in the lineup. If you
Mhm.
look at his games
Yep.
in
Yep.
the
And if you look,
last what
yeah, in his last 14
you know
days,
he's
he's been
he's
averaging
almost had 30
32.
minutes the last
Yeah, as I say, in his last 2 weeks, he's averaged 32 minutes per game, shooting 58% field goal, 75% free throw. He's hit 7 threes, 87 points, 38 rebounds, 16 assists, 9 steals, 5 turnovers. So that's really good. When you're looking at 16 assists, 9 steals, only 5 turnovers, getting you a high field goal. If we break that down into averages, 1.2 threes per game, 14 points, 6 rebounds, 2.7 assists, 1.5 steals, under 1 turnover. Definitely over the last 2 weeks, this guy is performing, and just over the last week, this seems to be going up a little bit. He's up to 3 steals, 7 rebounds, 15 points. Definitely talking about what Ricky's speaking on, and you like him going forward, especially like you said, as an undrafted rookie on a team that needs players.
Yes, I do like him going forward. He's more on the side that I think of maybe Bay or Jackson. Like I said, moving forward, not someone like
Mhm.
Temple, where I think again he has a shelf life, and then you're
Mhm.
going to leave him.
Mhm.
Tate is someone that I could see on my team.
Mhm.
Um, Again, with all these injuries, he's definitely someone that I like. I've been playing him. He scored double digits the last 6 out of the last 7 games.
Mhm.
He's just come on. But to me, someone that is for the future. Well, again, we always have to play it by ear, but he is
Mhm.
someone I can see staying on my team for the long run, not someone
Mhm.
that I have only for a week or so.
I definitely agree with you. I think the kid offers a lot of upside, and if you saw, he's actually on my one of my teams, so I definitely agree with you, and I do have him rostered myself.
Yep.
So for me this week, normally I give you guys 2 guys in waiver wire Wednesday, and I give you guys two guys in this week in basketball. But this week in basketball, this week kind of came off the rails, so that'll definitely be picked up next week. But what I'll do is I'll roll my 2 guys that I had in that over into this, and I'm going to give you a foursome. Okay, so I'm going to give you a nice little foursome. It's going to be pretty
Okay.
sexy. All right, so I got 4 guys right here for
Gotcha.
you, all owned in 49% of the leagues or under. First guy that we're talking about, Angles. Angles has been a monster ever since he came back. I was wondering why his rostership has been so low. When I picked him up, he was about 20% rostered, and I completely understand that when you have guys like Conley and Donovan Mitchell, they tend to take a lot of the show over, and he's an assist guy. But if you look at his numbers, 6, 2, 5, 5, 6, 5, 6, 3, 11, the guy puts up numbers. He hits threes. He pretty much guaranteed at least 1 3 per game. He gets you points. He only had in this scan of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. He only has 3 games where he was under 10 points, and he has 4 games where he was over 20 points. So he's definitely someone that, is really putting up some solid numbers, shooting good free throws. If we look at his last 2 weeks, he's 33 ranked overall. If we just go to last 7 days average, he definitely drops down, but he's only at 57. So overall, he's hovering right there. He's someone that, owned in less than 50% of leagues. He's hitting 3.7 threes per game currently. I'm just shocked at how low Ingles is, especially when you consider he's an all-around playmaker that is getting about 27 minutes per game over the last week. And if we look at what he's done over the last month, he's right there, 82, averaging almost 29 minutes per game, 52% from the field, 92% free throw, 2.8 threes made, 13 points. I just don't know why he's owned in so little leagues, but he's definitely someone that I think should be rostered in more spots. Then the next guy that we're going to talk about real quick is going to be another guy from this list, and that's going to be Josh Hart. Now, Josh Hart has been getting 31 minutes or so over the last 2 weeks. He's ranked 69 on average, but if you look at what he's done, 48 percent field goal, 71% free throw, 2 threes, 12 points and 8 rebounds. How nice is that? With only 1 turnover, 2 threes a game, and he's getting you 0.8 steals, 0.8 blocks. This guy's doing everything for you. He doesn't really hurt you anywhere. He helps you almost everywhere. Gets you a good number of threes, good rebounds from a guard. Definitely someone that you don't mind rostering. Now, the next guy that we're talking
And
about,
just to say
sure.
something about Hart,
Mhm,
I think one of the things people should look at
mhm,
is that he's coming off the bench and
mhm,
he's still getting as much or more minutes than Bledsoe.
mhm,
I think what's kind of separating him from Bledsoe, because if you
mhm,
see, I have Bledsoe in one of my leagues, and he's been up and down. Like,
mhm,
you can't, I put him in because listen, he's getting the minutes. He's Bledsoe. He's shown before that he's. But if you really look at it, Hart's been getting as many minutes as him coming off the bench,
mhm,
and again, the difference between Bledsoe and Hart, though, the way I see him when watching the games is,
mhm,
Hart could rebound. Hart plays more defense, right? More
mhm,
defensive ability. So these are things that, hey, keep in mind.
mhm,
He's going to get
mhm,
that minute because that's what,
mhm.
if he's getting as much minutes as a
Coach likes him.
starter, is something to keep in mind.
Yep. Coach likes him, and I think one thing that we've seen about Sam Van Gundy, he runs about 8. It's not like he's a guy that's going to be hitting 10-man rotations where it's like he's divvying up
Yeah.
tons of minutes and you're watching guys get 24 minutes. He's going to let his guys rock and he's going to give them the burn. And I think that's a reason why Hart to me is someone who's a little undervalued. He's only rostered right now in 39% of leagues. As we see,
Yeah.
just even in the last 30 days, just to go back to numbers because I love numbers. Last 30 days, he's 93 overall on average, 1.7 threes, 28 minutes per game, 10 points, 7 rebounds. You can't say more about that. It's
Yep.
really great.
Nope.
Um,
And I'm with you on that.
so we covered the two big guys, I feel like, Ingles and Hart. Now we're talking about my passion, my love, Potel. Okay. I don't even know if I'm saying his name right, but
You
this
do
dude
love
is
this
a
guy.
beast. This dude is a beast. Now, the problem with him is if we see here 1, 2, 3, 4 games in a row, PPD. So he took a hit. I held him in a lot of teams. If we see what happened before he went down, 4 blocks, 3 blocks, 2 blocks, 4 blocks, 1 block, 4 blocks, 2 blocks, 3 blocks. Every game blocks out the yin yang. This dude puts up numbers. In his last 30 days, he's the highest ranked of all of these guys. He's averaging 2.4 blocks per game, 8.3 rebounds per game. Now, obviously, if we lower him down to 2 weeks and all that, his numbers become super erratic because his last 4 games they haven't played because of contact tracing. Now, we know that there's a chance that Marcus Aldridge is going to be back, but Rudy Gay, Devin Vassell, I believe Kendall Johnson and White are all going to be out for the San Antonio Spurs. So what that means is that Patel, at least off the bat, is going to have a chance to put up numbers. And I think he's gotten to the point where, especially because the Spurs are in the playoff chase, where I do think that Pop is going to start putting more trust into him and giving him more burn, especially when you look at it. They pulled out a lot of wins when this guy was getting more minutes. 34, 29, 30, 20, 28, 37. In these wins, he's getting minutes. So I think what you're seeing off the trends with Popovich is that there's a good chance, especially because of how well he's defending in the paint and how well he's rebounding, that Potel is, I'm not even saying his name right, is going to be able to get a
I don't know if you're
significant
saying his name right.
yeah, right. I just want to put that out there. I'm sorry, bro, if I'm messing it up, but I'm digging your flow, kid. But he's definitely someone. If he's available, I would take him. I held him in 2 leagues, full well knowing I wouldn't have him for the full week, just because I didn't want to lose him. You don't see 2.4 blocks per game often, especially when you're getting 8 rebounds and shooting 66% from the field. Even though he doesn't get the most field goals, I do expect that Popovich is going to end up leaning on him. Now, it could be a case where, maybe he fades away from him and LaMarcus Aldridge gets the minutes and it becomes a drop. But everything that I've seen off this guy so far, I'm all in. I'm putting my chips to the center of the table. I got him in 2 leagues. I think maybe 3 leagues, actually. So I'm rocking with him. I think that he's
I,
going to be
I
fine.
I know you and Heineken. And I the blocks is impressive.
Mhm.
And not so. You know what my biggest issues of that is? the Spurs, especially Popovich, is so unpredictable. He's very much someone that switches up the line at a drop of a dime. Like you
Yep.
said, all of a sudden he's not getting playing time, and all of a sudden he is. Like, someone that's usually getting that much blocks, you would see the minutes. But Pop is so much different. That's the only thing I have with the Spurs. They almost remind me somewhat of the New England Patriots, where it's like, oh yeah, you have a running back. He's been doing great one game, and the next game he's non-existent, right?
Well, the one
But
good thing
I think that plays him.
I could say to this is that at least for the whole season in general, he's gotten at least 22. So he has,
Yeah,
obviously you want to see more minutes than that. And if we break it down, he's only up to in the last 38 to 25. But even with short minutes, his block rate is just insane. He's still at 1.5 blocks, 7 rebounds, 7 points. If he's putting up numbers like this, it's easier to drop him. But 1.5 blocks from a center is still super nice, especially when you consider blocks are one of the hardest categories to get. I feel like it's like searching for needles in the haystack.
blocks to me is that.
Yeah.
I agree with you on that, Steve. Blocks is a premium category. It's hard to get. I'm
One person
losing in blocks almost every week.
Yeah.
I can't get blocks.
There's one person that I talk about almost every episode of This Week in Fantasy Basketball. Miles Turner. This guy's whole value is blocks. He's not getting you much in anything. He has low points, low rebounds, doesn't get you that many threes. He's not an assist guy. Yes, he has low turnovers, doesn't have bad ratios, but the guy is like leaps and bounds killing people in blocks. He is by far the block leader. And
I think
that literally keeps him in the top 10.
Yep.
Top 10. So I think that's someone that
I think he's number one.
Blocks, yes.
I think he's number one, and I think someone that's right behind him who is Rudy Gobert. I think he's right there. He's defensively been playing amazing as well, and that's really elevated Gobert. I think he's getting almost 2.8 blocks a game or something.
But like here, and I think here's what blows my mind is like, because I do this with the audience almost every Monday, right? This guy Miles Turner was sitting in the top 10 for almost the whole season now. Like, and he was top 5 at one point. Now, if we look here on season average, things have gone down. So let me pull up the season total because I think that's a better, indicator. Miles Turner right there, 10. Like, and trust me, Gobert right here, he's at 24. But the blocks that Turner has, 94 by far and away. He has seven blocks. Look, it's Turner, Gobert, Butcher, Capella, Noel. And Noel is 50 blocks, so he's 44 blocks away from Turner. And this dude is like a free agent. Gasol, Lopez, Jordan. This is how tight blocks are, people. Potel is still like in like top 15, top 10. And this is why blocks to me, especially a guy like Potel, has so much value is because his block rate is just insane. Like, think about that. He's not even getting the most. I
mean, you're happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I just say like you're happy with the guy that gives you 1 block per game. So imagine someone that gives you more than 2.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? That they come at a premium. But you're definitely right about that.
Many guys that are doing that are rosterable. That's one of the key things, and that's why to me, Turner is great, but because he could win you that one category. But like I said all season, I would look to move off him if I could. I would have sold him high when he was sitting at 2 or 3. Now he's at the point where I still would sell him. I'm not backing off of that statement to the viewers. I would still sell Miles Turner if I can. Sell him off that hype because realistically, you're not helping me. You're not beating people in threes. You're not beating people in points. You're not beating people. Look, let's compare him to even Butcher. Less threes, less points, less rebounds, less assists.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on Turner. If you could get him something good for him, in return, you sell him now. Again, unless he completely shatters your blocks and you have no chance of getting. Like you got to look at it that way too. If Miles Turner is winning you block categories, then you might just have to stick with him, right? But
Then
if
my
you're
question.
losing still with Miles Turner, there's no reason to keep him
You're
and
not
try to
losing.
get something else.
You're not losing blocks on Miles Turner. But the point is, how much are you blowing people out
Right.
on? And are you winning enough other? Like, are you winning blocks but losing 5 other categories and losing every week? Where it's like, okay,
Yes,
yes,
that is true.
I'm like so because you can maybe look to get a package of like 2 players that are unheralded that are putting up 20 points a game but are ranked significantly lower because they're not as efficient and look to balance your team out. And I think that's my thing with Turner is just that his blocks has his numbers overinflated because most other guys probably win 5-4 versus him head to head, but because his blocks are so dominant, his rankings are a little thrown off, in my opinion. But just to land the plane on my pickups, the last of the fourth guy, and I'll make this quick, is a guy from Houston for much of the same reasons that Ricky was talking about. Houston is a bottom team that is looking to get just players in there. They need to get bodies in there. And House Jr. is someone that he kind of fits in and chips in everywhere. We know that the Boogie Cousins is out going forward. He's officially cut. So he's not going to be coming
Yep.
back. And if we look at House, in the last 7 days, he's getting 23 minutes per game. Oh, let me get his averages. Excuse me. I prefer talking in averages. He's been getting 23 minutes per game, getting 3 threes per game, 11.5 points, 4 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 0.5 steals, 0.5 turnovers, 61% field goal. So he's pretty solid everywhere. Doesn't really hurt you anywhere. Free throws are a little low, but he's only getting 1 attempt per game, so it's not like it's really going to hurt you. But overall, I think he's been pretty solid in his last 14 days. That field goal percentage is way down at 36%, but his free throws gone way up at 84%. If he goes back down to that shooting percentage, I would possibly look at moving him and dropping off of him. But for now, I think especially leading up into the break, I would look to see what he has. He's getting consistent minutes. If we look 25, 32, 25, 30, 34, 31, 23, 36, 21, 26, he's getting solid playing time. We know there's no Boogie Cousins going forward. This guy offers you a lot of flexibility. And if you're looking at someone on the waiver wire to stream or to make a quick pickup, I think that House Jr. is someone that could definitely benefit you on that front. Is there anything you want to add to any of the players that I spoke about, Ricky, or anything like that?
Just the House. He played well last year when he got the minutes. He
He
was
was the
someone
bubble
that I
guy.
had picked up off waiver, and he did well for me. Yep. He was the bubble guy. So again, it's I think biggest thing is, hey, Cousins is gone. Someone's got to fit in these minutes. You always got to look at that.
And they
People
said they
always
want
got
to
to
go
start
small.
listen. They don't sound the sexiest. They're not the top names, and they yeah, exactly. And so these minutes got to be played by someone.
Yep.
Again, you got to look and make sure that they're not killing you in certain categories where
Yep.
hey, it's not worth it. But
Yep.
if they're not, it's someone that you put in there. And again, I think you're right about House Jr.
And then so that's all we have for this week in players. I know it's a little more players than you guys are used to, but I wanted to add in a couple of guys since I didn't do my normal Monday show. So I like to throw that in there and keep you guys update informed. And real quick as we end out, I just want to show you this is all the players for the most part that we've been talking about over these last couple of weeks. So right now, and this is just obviously season total, Kendrick Nunn is just killing the game. I hope you guys picked him up still. He's only rostered in 55% of the league still. So some of you guys, you have an opportunity out there. This one guy I didn't get a chance to talk about that I wanted to talk about, Patrick Williams. He's another guy that, like Ricky was talking about, there's going to be a situation for minutes here with the Bulls. We're going to see Laurie out for a while. And look at what the minutes that Patrick Williams is getting: 34, 35, 31, 29, 28, 35, 35, 35. The guy's a rookie. Obviously, he's going to have ups and downs. He's been pretty solid, though, overall for the season. And if we just look at it, has percentages real quick: 685, been pretty solid. Tate has been holding in there. I mean, not Tate. Young has been holding in there. He was a guy that we had mentioned before to pick up. Yep, he was under 50% at one point. Now he's up to 72. I would say there's still room for him to go up. Cam Johnson is someone that Ricky had touched on before. He's down in his ownership lately, but if you look overall his numbers, he's still been pretty solid and serviceable. Just in the last week alone, he's in the top 100 on total. You got Bay, you got Dort, Royce O'Neal still putting up decent numbers. Holiday still halfway decent. But yeah, that's it for this week. I just want to show you some of the things that we're looking at on some of these guys and how well they've been playing on average. These are the two guys. Boom. You see they're on my team. I play by the Wavier Wire as well. I practice what I preach. I definitely love to go mining and digging for new players. But Ricky, what do you have for the folks to look forward to this week? What are you eyeballing right now as we go into the All-Star break? What's got your eyes going forward for this last stretch?
For basketball is seeing who's going to come back from injuries. I know some people have guys on the injury list waiting. You and I discussed. I have Jaren Jackson Jr. So keep an eye on who's coming back. Who's hurt, how long they're going to be gone for. This is a time where maybe they start giving guys some breaks, or they start playing them full because they know that they're going to be, going on their break for about a few days. Also, a thing to kind of look out for us here at the Daily Sporting. Definitely check us out for gambling bets that we do per night. Tonight was one of them. And unfortunately, Randall screwed your boy here. He got a tech, which he wasn't supposed to get. He just got the tech, and I literally lost by half a point because of that tech. So his 1 point made me lose the bet. So yeah, that was.
But hey now,
gamblers out there know, we all know out there betting. We hate when a player does it. But we're definitely be looking at that all week. I have more bets coming up in the weeks. I have my spot player, which I do every week. Someone that either has been performing great for the last week, or someone that you have to look out and say, hey, he's coming off injury, he might help. So I'm gonna have a player spotlight this week as well, and we'll be definitely up to date on everything with basketball coming up, especially with the last 2 weeks into the All-Star break.
Absolutely. We got some things cooking for baseball, but that's a whole nother sport that you guys probably might not be interested in. So we'll leave that for another day. On that last note, we'll just say have a wonderful rest of your week, guys. I hope that you make all the moves that you need in order to win. If you have any questions about your team, about pickups, about trades, about maybe lineup changes that you're thinking about, feel free to drop into our DMs on Twitter, on Instagram, to leave a comment on this on YouTube or Facebook. We respond to everything. It may not be the second you respond, but we will get back to you no matter what. That's how we roll out here. We're fully transparent, and we are for the people. We are the Rock of fantasy sports. We are the people's champ. And on that note, we're out of here. So peace out, people. Have a wonderful night. Thank you for your time, and let's go Knicks.